Welcome everyone to this 35-minute grounding yoga class. I recommend having 2 blocks, placing one at the top of the mat as well as one at the base. And when you're ready to begin, we'll come into a wide-legged child's pose. So toes together, knees about as wide as the mat. Sit the hips back, reach the arms forward, and rest the forehead heavy down on the mat. Using these initial moments to ground our energy down, breathing into the earth underneath us. As you inhale, begin to lift your hips slightly, drawing your rib cage all the way over to the right side of the mat, circling your way all the way up to a tabletop. And then as you exhale, keep circling around, drawing the rib cage to the left side, and eventually bringing the hips all the way back to center. Keep going 2 more times in this direction, inhaling as you circle your way all the way up, and exhale, coming back around the other direction. And moving the other way now. Not worrying too much about what the spine is doing, just beginning to wake up that breath and movement connection. Landing in center. And then begin to walk the hands back slightly, just enough so that you can lift the hips and draw the knees closer together. Knees and feet will be hips width apart here. Lean into your hands so you can lift the hips enough to tuck all toes underneath you, and then lower the hips back down. Slowly walk the hands back until you feel a stretch along the soles of your feet. You may be able to bring them all the way onto your lap so you're sitting up straight. Take 1 full breath here. Hands back in front of you. Lift the hips to untuck the toes and then sit back, walking the hands in line with the hips. Lift the knees as little or as much as possible, stretching the tops of the feet for 1 breath. Lower the knees down, take the hands in front of you, press through the hands, tuck the toes, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. 1 breath. That's our flow for 2 more times. Lower the knees down, keep the toes tucked, slowly walk the hands back any amount, maybe sitting all the way up. Breathing into that glorious stretch on the bottoms of the feet. Hands in front of you, untuck the toes, sit yourself back, and then maybe lift the knees up, breathing into the stretch on the tops of the feet. Allow them to sickle here. Lowering the knees, hands in front of you, press through the hands, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. 1 full breath. Take 1 more round. Last downward facing dog. And then lower the knees back down, untucking the toes and coming to sit back on your feet. Hands down next to your hips, fingertips on the floor. We're going to draw circles with the arms, so begin to take the right fingertips out wide beside you, drawing them out up and around as the left fingertips go wide, so you can draw the right arm up overhead, opening into this lateral stretch. And then coming back out the way you came, right fingertips down, and then the left fingertips follow, beginning to draw up and over to the right. So taking these very natural circles with the upper body, using the fingertips to take your upper body down, out, and around. You can experiment with lifting your hips each time you go. Breathing naturally here. If you feel open enough, you can even take that bottom hand to the foot and open up into a half camel stretch, reaching the fingertips all the way up and back, gaze to the sky. Last time, reaching the left arm up and over. Come back to center. Take the hands out in front of you. Bring yourself up to tabletop just so you can walk the knees back an inch or two. And then keeping the hips high up to the sky, stacked on top of the knees, begin to walk the hands far forward, straightening the arms, spreading the fingers, and sinking the chest low for puppy. If it's a lot for you, you can rest the forehead on the mat. If you're feeling a little more open, bring the chin to the mat, gaze forward. Hands are super active here, pressing through all 10 knuckles equally and allowing the chest to melt naturally closer and closer down to the mat. Gaze to the mat, tuck the tailbone under you as you begin to arch the spine up to the sky, undulating yourself forward until eventually you unravel into Sphinx, coming down onto your elbows underneath the shoulders. Spread the fingers wide. As you inhale, draw the hands back slightly, pull the chest forward and gaze up. Exhale, arch the spine to the sky, tuck the chin, gaze to navel. So we inhale to this cow spine in Sphinx. Exhale to cat. Take this one more time. Back to center. Take the left arm and thread it underneath the right until the left shoulder comes all the way down to the mat, left palm up to the sky. Take the right leg out to a 90-degree angle, and then reach the right arm far up overhead onto the fingertips, beginning to roll yourself up and open to a spinal twist. You can stay here or begin to circle that right arm all the way back up overhead and then drawing it closed on top of the left. So we inhale as we circle that arm up and open, and we exhale as we circle it up and closed. One more round, mobilizing the entire spine, the shoulders, and the neck here. And then come back up through center, straightening the legs and pointing the toes behind you. And then thread the right arm underneath the left, right shoulder, right cheek to the mat. Bend the left leg out 90 degrees this time, walk the left fingertips up overhead, and then open up into that spinal twist. Staying here or taking those upper body circles, closing the arm back down, and then opening it back up, reaching the fingertips further away from you each time. The next time you open up, stay there. And then just roll all the way onto your back, bending your knees and bringing your feet to the mat. Hips width apart. Arms down by your side, press the palms into the mat and walk the feet slightly closer to your glutes. Tuck the pelvis under, press through the heels and lift the hips up, coming into bridge, gaze to the sky. Strong activation of the glutes and hamstrings here. And then option to bring the arms straight up to the sky, pointing the fingertips upwards. A little bit of a balance challenge. Bring the hands down if they're up, and then transfer your weight into your left foot so you can peel the right leg up, straightening it to the sky, pointing the toes. Try to keep the hips as high as possible. Keep pushing through the heel of the left foot. And then slowly lower the right leg down. Keep the hips lifted. Transfer the weight into the right foot, peeling the left toes up towards the sky. Lower the left foot down. Keep the hips lifted. Bring the arms and the fingers up to the sky, holding for a moment, breathing into the strength and the fire of those back body muscles. And then slowly roll the hips all the way down. Keep the arms where they are, lift the feet, bring the knees in towards the chest, and then peel your upper body and head up off the mat, reaching the arms alongside your legs, fingertips beyond your feet. Active crow. Keep breathing, stoking the fire of our core. Relax the upper body down, holding on to the backs of the thighs now. Take a few rocks up and down. Eventually, bringing yourself up to sit, or you can hold a boat. So if you're floating your legs, hold on to the backs of the thighs or reach the fingertips forward just for a couple of breaths. And relax, cross your legs. And then make your way up and over to downward facing dog. So you're just going to roll yourself over to face the front of the mat. Press through the hands, tuck the toes, and lift your hips up and back. Inhale, right leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, draw the knee to the chest and step the foot between the hands. Lower the back knee and untuck the toes. This is a good time to grab that block with your right hand, placing it to the right side of the mat, close to the hip. And then walk your hands up, stacking them on top of each other, on top of the right knee. Sitting tall and breathing in this Anjaneyasana, low lunge. If you'd like to take it a little bit deeper, reach for that block on the right side. You may want to walk it out a little bit further. Draw the left hand down beside you before reaching the arm up, sitting tall, finding length, and then bending laterally over to the right. Legs stay where they are as the left fingertips reach far up and over. Of course, if you don't need that block underneath your right hand, just simply remove it, fingertips down to the mat. Keep reaching those fingertips as you melt the upper body down to the right thigh, eventually coming back to center, left hand down to the mat. And you can place that block off to the front now. Right hand comes down to the mat. Take the left hand a little further ahead of you as you heel toe that right foot out to the outside of the mat, coming onto the outer edge of the foot. And then reach the right arm long alongside the ear, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Begin to open all the way up so that you come onto the outer edge of the left foot, sink the hips down, right arm up and down to present the left foot. As you inhale, press through the left hand and the feet as you lift the hips high, swing the arm up and over. And exhale, lower everything back down. Inhale, lift the hips, reach the arm up overhead. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale one more time, reach the arm, and then circle the right hand back down to the mat. Heel toe that right foot back in. Lower the left knee, and then pivot on that knee, bringing that foot behind you to the right side of the mat. And then walk the hands all the way towards the back of the mat, so you're facing the left now. Right foot plants all the way down on the mat, toes forward, and reach the right arm up overhead. If you need a little more height here, bring a block underneath the left hand. Breathing here, one long line of energy through the fingertips all the way out through the outer edge of the right foot. Stay here or play with lifting that leg in line with the hip. Lower the foot back down and then circle the right hand down, walking the hands out in front of you. You're in this halfway lift and you may want to walk that right foot a little further away from you. Keep it planted flat on the mat. Inhale here. As you exhale, lower the hips all the way back to meet the left heel. Inhale as you lift, lots of length in the spine, gaze slightly forward. Exhale, melt yourself all the way back. One more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower, stretching the inner right thigh. Back up to that halfway lift. Pivot those left toes underneath you so that you can sit yourself back all the way onto your glutes. Left knee is out as you draw the left heel in towards the pelvis. Flex the right foot. Few options here for the arms. Option one is to take the right arm to the outside of the left knee. Reach the left arm up overhead and bend yourself over the right leg for a lateral stretch. Chest stays open. If you need a little more height here, bring the right forearm and gently press it into the right thigh. Right palm stays up. If you'd like to take it deeper still, bring the right forearm alongside the inside of the right calf. Plant the back of the hand down on the mat. Whichever position you're in, keep rolling that right rib cage underneath you so you can open the chest up. Bring yourself up to sit, and then cross that right foot over the left knee, planting it down on the mat, setting up for a seated spinal twist. Draw the left heel in towards the right glute, right fingertips back to support you. Reach the left arm up and then wrap it around the left thigh, drawing it close in towards your upper body. Sitting taller with each inhale, and opening into a spinal twist with each exhale. Take the gaze over that right shoulder if it's comfortable for your neck. Unwinding from that, bring the hands to the back of the mat now. Swing that right leg back behind you, tucking the toes, and then step the left foot back to meet the right, eventually making your way back to downward facing dog. On your inhale, reach the left leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, draw the knee to the chest before stepping that foot between the hands. Lower the right knee down, untuck the toes. Grab that block and place it to the left side now, close to your hip. And then walk the hands, stacking them on top of the left knee. Sitting up tall, allowing that left hip flexor to slowly sink down towards the mat. breathing into that deep opening. Stay here or option to reach the left fingertips down to that block. Right arm goes up and over for that lateral stretch. Legs stay exactly where they are. And you can always release that block if you can reach your fingertips down to the mat. Right arm keeps reaching far out as you lower the upper body down to the thigh, making your way back to center. Release the block, plant both hands on the mat to the inside of the left foot. Right hand goes slightly forward as you heel toe that left foot out. And then tuck the back toes, reach the left arm alongside the ear, and then begin to open all the way up, coming onto the outer edge of both feet, lowering the hips and swinging that left arm up and down to frame the right foot. Inhale, press into the hand and the feet, lift the hips high and swing the left arm up overhead. Exhale, lower the hips down, lower the arm. So we inhale into this long reach, stretching into the left side of the body. Exhale as we lower and reset. One more time, inhale, reach a little bit further this time, and then lower the left hand next to the right. Begin to heel toe that left foot back into center. Lower the back knee, pivot on that knee, taking your right foot to what is now your left side of the mat. And then walk your hands all the way over. They're coming to the front of the mat now. Grab that block if you need it underneath those right fingertips, and then reach the left arm long overhead. Left foot is flat on the mat. You can stay here breathing this long line of energy, or you can experiment with lifting the left leg, making this more of an active stretch. Lower the foot down and then circle that left arm down to the mat, walking the feet out in front of you, halfway lift, and then maybe adjusting that left foot if you need to. Inhale the spine long, and then exhale, melt the hips all the way back to meet the right heel. Inhale as you pull yourself back up, finding a little more length. Exhale, lead with the hips, melting yourself down. One more time. Back up to this halfway lift, and then pivot those right toes a little more underneath you so you can come to sit on your glutes. Right knee goes out as you draw that right heel in towards the pelvis, flexing the left toes. Left hand to the outside of the right knee as you reach the right arm up and over, bending into this lateral stretch. Or if you'd like a little more height, left forearm gently presses into the upper left thigh, palm facing up. Keep the chest open. If you'd like to go deeper, take the left forearm in line with the left calf, palm facing up. Folding deeper, but wherever you are, keep scooping the left side body underneath you so you can keep the chest open. Lift yourself back up, and this time step the left foot over top of the right knee, planting it down, drawing the right heel into the left glute, setting yourself up for seated spinal twist. Left fingers back, Right arm reaches up and then hugs the right leg in towards the body. Sitting tall with each inhale and then spiraling open more with each exhale. Gaze can go beyond the left shoulder. Unwinding out of that, hands come to the top of the mat now. Swing the left leg back. Tuck the toes, step the right foot back to meet it, downward facing dog. Lift the heels high, begin to roll yourself forward to a strong plank, pushing through the hands and tucking the pelvis slightly under. Keep the hips low as you push through the hands, bending the knees and bringing the glutes back towards your heels. You are in this frog stretch. Hold here for a moment. Kiss the knees down to the mat, untuck the toes, and come to sit up. We are coming into hero's pose, so if you know that you have any knee issues at all, I highly recommend grabbing one of your blocks and placing it underneath your tailbone. Lessening the bend of those knees, taking the pressure off a little bit. Whether you have the block or not, draw the knees closer in towards one another. Heels are to the outside of the hips and the tops of the feet are pressing down into the mat. If that feels like enough of a stretch for you, rest your hands in your lap and close your eyes. Or you can begin to walk them out behind you. Think about lifting those hips ever so slightly to deepen the stretch in the quads and the psoas. If you'd like to take this deeper still, you can lower yourself down onto your elbows. Arms will be parallel to one another, fingertips facing forward towards the toes. And keep the gaze forward, focusing this stretch on the quads and the hip flexors rather than dumping the head back. And if you want to take this deeper still, make your way all the way down to your back, reach the arms up overhead, and hold on to opposite elbows. Keep breathing, coming out of the stretch at any point if it starts to strain. You are in complete control here. If you are on your back, slowly prop yourself up onto your elbows. If you're on your elbows, make your way up to your hands. And then bring the hands out in front of you, lifting the hips, removing the block if it's there. Slowly bringing the legs out in front of you and then making your way down to your back. Bend the knees, plant the feet on the mat, and let the back and the thighs settle. Walk the left foot out slightly, keeping it on the mat, leg bent, and then draw the right knee in towards the chest, flexing the foot up to the sky and reaching for the inside of the foot with the right hand, half happy baby. Begin to pull down on that foot as you encourage the right knee all the way down to the mat. It might not get there, that's okay. Rolling so much so that the left glute starts to lift up off the mat, and you can start to straighten that right leg any amount. And then slowly begin to bring yourself through center, bending that right leg back in. Reaching up with the left hand, holding on to the outside of the right foot. Right arm goes down and begin to draw the right leg all the way over to the left, coming into a spinal twist. So the left leg is going to fall down to the mat. And repeating that flow, making your way through center, handing that foot back to the right hand, and opening the right leg back up. If it's a lot for you to hold the foot, you can also hold the back of the thigh and just encourage that knee out. And then as you pass that right leg over to the left hand will come to the outside of the right knee. And you can gently rock yourself into that spinal twist. So keep going with this about 4 more times, allowing it to be quite rhythmic, slow, and enjoyable. If you close your eyes, you'll start to notice all those little micro movements that need to happen to balance the body. Might feel a little bit wobbly, and that's okay. But let this movement become kind of meditative, fluid, and less technical. We're really getting into the hamstrings here, the medial and the lateral hamstrings as we cross that leg over the body, and of course getting that amazing spinal twist. One more round on this side, opening the leg up to the right, maybe stretching it a little further before passing it off to the left hand and reaching it far across the body. Back to center, bend both legs, plant both feet on the mat, resetting and then walking that right foot out slightly, bending the left knee in, flexing the foot up to the sky, reaching for the inside of the foot with the left hand. Rocking it out to the side before bringing it through center, reaching for the outer edge of the foot with the right hand, passing it off, drawing it across the body. Eyes open or closed. This is a bit of a balance challenge. There's always a moment where that leg that's down on the mat kind of flops down towards the mat. Just trying to make it a little more graceful each time, noticing those micro adjustments, micro movements that need to come in to steady ourselves, to make it all a little more fluid. Take one more round. Back through center, arms down by your sides. Bring the legs up to the sky and shake them out, moving through any last bits of energy before you set yourself up for Shavasana. Legs go wide on the mat, or using any pillows, bolsters, blankets to support your Shavasana. Begin to let go of the practice. Allow your breath to be natural. And gift yourself the next 5 minutes or so to do absolutely nothing. Thank you for joining me for class today, and I hope to see you for the next one. Take good care and enjoy the rest of your day.